Hello and welcome to the Engineer Your Success, Leadership, and Life Harmony Like a Mother show. I'm your host, Kenya Romanovska, award-winning investigative journalist turned maternity leave and working motherhood strategist. And I'm here to help you, STEM mom, career-minded mom, corporate mom, turn the motherhood penalty into your greatest advantage. How do you know you're experiencing the motherhood penalty? Well, it starts by affecting your mindset through an increased mental load at home and decreased confidence and juggling a career and family. You now have full-time jobs, but not twice the time. And before doing some of the training in this community, moms with careers often report to us that they have either mental health and anxiety issues, often linked to disturbed sleep, a nonstop to-do list and feeling like they're never done, having to do it all on the home front and never really, even with a supportive partner, being able to share the load very equitably, having doubts about being a good professional and mother, having perfectionism from their work seep into their personal lives, which affects their parenting, and concerns about multiple career breaks, right? And today we're here to talk about a topic that's not easy. In fact, I will tell you right away, I don't have all the perfect answers. Let me pull up my notes for you. But I think that most of us at some point as working moms, as women, we will face an inappropriate comment at work, whether it's sexism or racism. And often we are so shocked that we freeze and we don't know what to do. And then after the fact, we tell ourselves, oh, I should have said this or I should have said that, right? And one of the best things I think that we can do is start having discussions about this and proactively preparing for what you want to do. I've certainly learned some things about myself. I've realized that if I let an issue linger for too long, it really affects my mindset. And I encourage you, after watching this session, possibly to role play with someone or revisit a situation you've had in the past and then decide how you would want to respond in the future in case you get an inappropriate comment. We are doing some sessions on personal branding this month, and your values. So this is recording and podcast and live show and a series that I've been doing on how to work on your personal brand, tackling maternal wall bias. And I think that being proactively prepared to respond inappropriate comments in the workplace in a way that aligns with your value and personal brand can help you build your career capital and be more confident, right? So let us dive into a couple of tips on how to prepare. As I mentioned, we can always, most of us get caught off guard, at least for the first time, when we hear something inappropriate. And in fact, I want to have the discussion in my weekly session with my clients because I know that women have faced that. I've heard terrible stories of women on site when they were starting out their careers, seeing inappropriate posters and trailers on construction sites. And I know that this is still a problem. Others have faced comments like, you only got this promotion because you are this race or you're this gender. And again, the first reaction is this kind of freeze, right? You don't even know what to do, and it feels very disempowering. So the number one, the first step that I have for you is first staying calm. Rehearse staying calm, and again, do some role playing, but take a moment to collect yourself and ensure you respond in a composed manner. And again, I will repeat this. I think practicing this is very important because often, we have this gut feeling that this is not right, but we doubt ourselves. We think like, did this person really say that? Is this really happening? Our instinct might be to just crawl under our desk and cry, or go to the bathroom and cry. Whereas in reality, when I look back on these situations, I think your gut has the right response to that, right? So if you can stay calm, if you can do a little bit of tapping, take a deep breath. And the next step would be to address things immediately if you're comfortable, right? If you're comfortable, again, role playing can help. And I want to do this week with my clients and bring back some learnings, but it can help set boundaries and make it clear that such behavior is not acceptable. Now, many of us will not do something from the get-go because we're afraid of damaging a relationship, right? And so this is where I think values like curiosity, maybe even humor, if you can practice that, can be helpful. And one statement that I've read in the past that I really liked was, did I really hear you say XYZ? Can you help me understand what you meant by that? So this show curiosity and give the other person possibly the opportunity to save face, to maintain the relationship, right? We all at some point commit a blunder in a conversation, and it's a good idea to give the person a benefit of the doubt, because there's a good chance that you will have to continue working with this person. I mean, unless it's such a serious situation that it escalates and you have to bring HR in. But even if that happens, these situations don't get resolved overnight, right? So instead of being in fear of completely damaging the relationship or not saying anything, try to show some really calm curiosity. And in fact, if some of you have a really good sense of humor, I would like to hear if you could diffuse the situation with a bit of humor. I'm sure there are ways, and we'll be posting some articles on the topic. But it could be a good way to be a relationship builder. And again, this is a personal choice. Do what you feel aligns with your personal brand. Some of you can feel extremely comfortable being assertive and calling something out. Just I would help you reflect on what the impact could be on the working relationship, right? So as long as you're responding in a way that you feel helps to reach your professional objectives, that aligns with your values, that you will feel good about in a year, that you will not regret speaking up that way, then do what you feel is best based on your personal circumstances at work, on the work culture, on what you're trying to create, right? There's not a one size fits all approach here. So there's other tips about using I statements. If you really feel like the comment crossed the line, you can say, I felt uncomfortable when you said that comment because, right? And if you believe the comment was unintentional or due to ignorance, consider educating the person about why the comment is inappropriate and how it can contribute to a negative work environment. So it's also good, I think, in this circumstance to have a follow-up plan. Somebody may have really done something out of ignorance. They didn't want to be rude. And if you don't give them a chance to save face, that could affect your working relationship, right? So perhaps you want to have a chance to reconnect with this person at a later time and navigate the situation with them, right? Now, if the situation persists, well, first of all, document the incident. If anytime anything that crosses a boundary and the person maybe doesn't realize that they've really crossed the line and this is serious, then document the incident. Keep a record, including the date, the time, the location, maybe people involved, and a brief description of what happened. This can be useful if the issue escalates or if you need to report it formally. And then if you need to involve a supervisor or HR, then at least you'll have that record. If the issue is persistent or if the comment was particularly offensive, consider involving your supervisor or the human resources department. They can provide guidance and take appropriate action to address the situation. Again, I would speak about that with a trusted mentor or friend. Every work environment is different. It depends on if you're in a small or large company, if there's capacity, how the reporting might impact your working situation, whether there's actually a potential to resolve this, or whether you have to seriously consider looking at another workplace, right? And that ties into seeking support. Talk to trusted colleagues or friends about the incident for support. Sometimes discussing the situation with others can help you process your feelings and determine the best course of action. But having witnessed people talking to me about these painful situations, they can really affect your mindset and your feelings about yourself over time. And it's really sad to observe. We have a tendency to really, our brains want to help us survive. And I think the impact of such situations can have a disproportionate impact on our confidence and our sense of self-worth, which is why I would really encourage you, after listening to this recording, to reflect on being able to address a situation like this as quickly as possible and not let it linger, and not to be in this fight or flight mode where we actually don't know what to do. And then you relive the situation over and over again, and you take time to talk about it with a friend or therapist. And then a lot of time passes. And then most of us probably wouldn't have the courage to come back to the person and sit down with them and say, hey, this was really uncomfortable for me. So I think if one key takeaway that I have from working with many women who are in male-dominated fields is that the longer you let the situation linger, the more you start having these stories about the situation or fear about addressing it, or, just imagining all sorts of different scenarios. So reflect, role play, and be prepared proactively. I think that's a better course of action than being able to be taken by surprise, right? So, okay, last 2 points: knowing your rights, familiarizing yourself with your company's policies on harassment and discrimination, and knowing that can empower you to take appropriate action and seek resolution. But if we're going to be realistic, we know that it's one thing to have a policy and another one to have it enacted. So this is important, but don't skip the step of preparing yourself proactively for something like that. In fact, you could even talk to trusted mentor or supervisor early in your career. Have this in your development plan, and ask them, look, if I was to face an inappropriate comment in my work environment, what is the procedure? What should I do? How would you react? How would you receive it? I remember early in my career, my boss and I, he was a man older than me. We actually worked in the same office face to face, and an older male colleague made an appropriate comment about us being lovebirds, and my boss responded absolutely immediately. He turned, he looked at the other colleague and told them, do not ever speak to me or my employee like that ever again. And he followed up with him really directly. So that was reassuring to me, because it showed me straight from the get-go that my manager, regardless of the policies, had my back, right? And I knew exactly what to expect with him. He had a very, very firm policy about that, right? So that gave me the confidence also to notice these things and bring them up as needed. Finally, the last point is about self-care. Dealing with such situations can be emotionally challenging. Take care of yourself by practicing self-care, as they say, whether it's talking to a friend, engaging in a hobby, or seeking professional support if needed. But my summary for the short podcast today, and again, I'm due with a baby in 2 days, so I don't know how many more of these I'll be doing unless she decides to stick around. I have a plan for the new year on the different content I want to bring to you in 2024. But obviously I will be adjusting to this new season in my life with a third baby, a first baby girl. So, I encourage you strongly to listen to this short podcast or live show and have an action plan. And we're going to send an email recap as well, so that you are not stuck with this kind of, I would have said this, and then let the situation linger and hurt you for a disproportionately long time. Because some habits take a long time to shift. Here in Alberta, APEGA has done a whole video series about the what they call the toxic bro culture. And I mean, some of the stories that were shared were heartbreaking and brought tears to my eyes. So these sexist environments are alive and real for many women, which is why I strongly encourage you, when we say turning the motherhood penalty into your greatest advantage, I always encourage you to try to take difficult situations and turn them into something that you will be able to alchemize into a positive experience for you. And being able to confidently address a situation like that at work can be so empowering, right? So please don't let ever a situation like that linger. Get professional support, prepare proactively, role play. I hope that my daughter will never experience this work environment in the future, but that's going to take concerted action, both from associations, companies, and also individuals like you who are listening to this, who can take action in a situation concretely before the world has changed. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I hope you will take action on it. And I hope that you will feel comfortable responding to sexist or inappropriate comments at work. Feel free, obviously, to send me your experiences. I would love to hear how you've handled these or how you plan to handle these in the future. I think we need to have more conversations about this, because as I was researching information for this episode, I found the resources lacking. And I think we can do more to empower women like you listening to this recording and your allies to respond better and to never face these situations again. Again, I'm Kenya Romanovska, host of the Engineer Your Success, Leadership, and Life Harmony Like a Mother show. And I will see you next time, maybe still in this year or in the new year. Take care. Thanks a lot.